For this lesson, we're going to be learning how to make an Ndebele home. Most of the designs are symmetrical, so we're going to take our full sheet, fold it in half, and I'm going to do like the stair-stepping design. So I'm going to have like a rounded area on the top and some stair steps. What's going to happen is whatever I cut here is going to be the same on both sides. And I always think when looking at other cultures and making art like theirs, we try not to copy. Instead, we try to emulate and learn from another artist to make it our own. So this is what it looks like on half of the house, and then I open it up and it looks like that. And if I want, I could take this was my negative space, use this, and I could create some sort of a fence with this. Maybe it goes in front. That would be super cool if it went like that. Or I could add it over here. Okay, so that's up to you to decide how you want to do it. If you propped it up like this at the end of the project, we might want to find some way, like cardboard pieces or something, to make it three-dimensional. I have the basic structure of the home, and everything is going to be symmetrical, right? So this is the same on both sides. So whatever I do for design is going to be the same on both sides. So I can start with a door. I need to get into the house. Maybe to reflect the shape of the doorway at the top here, I would add a door here. Think about your visual culture. The Ndebele in their artwork would have airplanes and telephone poles. And the reason they would add these features in their paintings is as their tribe was moved from one area of South Africa to another, actually they were forced out of their land and told to move to another place. And as they moved to another place, the culture changed, the things that they would see. So they used to be more out in the country and they didn't see a lot of airplanes, and they definitely didn't see any telephone poles. But as they moved, these things changed. So this became their visual culture, the things that they were seeing every day. So I want you to think about what is in your visual culture. So you already did some brainstorming, you thought about that. What are things that you see every day? Is this going to be about the year of 2020 and the things that you're seeing? Is this about your visual culture from when you were in elementary school, which could be different than now? Or is this just generally speaking, like this is about Oak Park, right? So I might start by just kind of breaking mine up into sections. Everything is outlined in black. So I'm doing pencil first. Of course, I like to make a lot of mistakes. So I'm only going to stick with pencil, and I'm going to divide my house up into some different sections. So I know I want this to be a black line. It's going to be fat, and everything is very geometric. So the stair-stepping thing, there's not really any blobby type shapes. There's no organic shapes. It's almost like everything is straight out of math class. It's circles and ovals and triangles and squares and diamonds like that. So I might create, maybe I'm going to create a diamond, and I'm just going to create some shapes first. Now I want this, whatever I do in this side has to be on this side. So I could freehand this, or I could go like this, fold it in half, hold it up to a window. I don't have a window right now, but if I were to hold it up to a window, I could trace it and see on through to the other side. So since I don't have a window right now, or a light box, I'm just going to freehand this, and I'm going to do my best. And it won't be perfect because I'm a human, but it's pretty darn close. All right, and then I know that up here I want to do some kind of like a window design, and maybe I'm just going to add some triangles. So right now I've just created some shapes, but I don't want to give all the ideas away because that's going to be you. So inside here, you're going to look at your visual culture list and what kinds of things, if you lived, if you did an Ndebele style home, but it was placed right here where you live, what kinds of things would be put there? What are your styles? What's important to you? What's in your culture? And then you're going to start blocking those out. Look at the resources, look at the homes, and see how they're organized and how they're put together to decide your layout. Another style of home that is created by the Ndebele is like a rounded home with a thatched roof. So I folded my paper in half, and on one side I drew from the top corner at the fold, so fold side here, top corner, all the way out, draw a diagonal line, I would say that we are a little bit higher than midway. Okay, and then it's basically, it's sort of like a triangle, but it is rounded. So what I did is I started at this corner here, and I start to kind of slowly go down a little bit, but don't go up again, right? So I'm gonna keep it folded. And it's symmetrical, it's the same on both sides. And cut this out so that the thatch roof is longer than the house. So you have the choice if you want to do sort of like the stair stepper, more geometric style home, or if you want to do more of the thatched roof. And in this case, again, you would go ahead and you would add a door and then all your designs. And then this roof, we'll just do some painting here. This does not have any designs on it, so you have a little bit of a smaller space to do your design. I did a little more work on here, and I was thinking about what is my visual culture. And I'm really thinking about living in Oak Park, and I'm really thinking about things that are current right now. And some of these things are maybe a little more obvious, and some of them might be a little bit more of a hidden message. In the Ndebele homes, sometimes the things tell a story about the family, things that are happening in the world, and then things that are a little more obvious. So I sort of have a mixture. So this was sort of a Frank Lloyd Wright. There's a tulip and some lines, so sort of like the stained glass that's for Frank Lloyd Wright for Oak Park, even though I don't have it on my house, but I do think that he's a really famous architect, and Oak Park is known for his style of architecture. And then another funny thing that we have about, or funny thing in my drawing, is this. It might just look like a design, but it's actually a road. Oak Park is divided north and south, or at least part of the town is split by the highway, by 290 coming right through the middle of our town. So, and I live just 2 blocks away from the highway. So I did that. Also, there's a lot of protests that are happening, and this is things have been happening a lot, especially this year with these protests. And when I walk around Oak Park, I take a lot of walks in town. I see a lot of signs in people's yard, like hate has no home here, we believe, and then there's a list of all the things that they believe. I see a lot of Black Lives Matter signs. So I remember it has to be symmetrical. So I wrote it correctly here, but here I had to reverse it. And I like that because it makes it like a little bit of a hidden message. This is something personal to me. I love ice cream. So instead of making it look like realistic ice cream, I made it look like an Ndebele style. I took something that would be rounded and I did the stair stepping style to it. And I was actually thinking about hole in the wall. My kids and I love to go to hole in the wall and get some ice cream. This is 2020. Can you guess what that is? It's a mask. So I did this. I love to repeat things. So not only am I repeating one side to another, I'm finding ways to repeat things throughout. So these triangles are repeated. And what else do we have? I like Berry Hill, and so this is the sled hill, and these are the stairs. I live South Oak Park, so that's an area that we like to go as a family. And of course, everyone is like so social media on their phones and remote learning, so I brought in some tech that's an iPad or phone, either one you want it to be. I think the last one I included was this. This is downtown Oak Park. This resembles Lake Theater. Not that I go there that much, but I think it's an iconic image that we see in Oak Park that is part of our Oak Park visual culture. So whichever way you want to take this, it can be Oak Park, it can be just your house, it can be your family. You can be more global of the things that you see on TV, the things that you see on social media if you have it. Whatever you're seeing that's coming at you and things that you see often, that is your visual culture, and sometimes could be referred to as pop culture. Things that are popular right now. All right, so we're going to fill all this out. Once you are done, you're gonna move into Sharpie Land and you're gonna outline everything. Don't do any outlining until you've decided for sure you love all your designs. All right, things to note. If you do not have a Sharpie and you want to use a black marker instead, you need to make sure that you paint first, let the paint dry, and marker on top. So if I paint on top of these lines, nothing's going to happen to my Sharpie. If I use a water-based marker, just a regular Crayola marker, and I paint over it, it's going to bleed everywhere. Okay, so really, really important. Sharpie, if you have Sharpie, it goes first. If you don't have Sharpie, you paint in the pencil and then you do the marker afterwards. Okay, so now we're getting ready to paint. So this is really just kind of like coloring in. So it's sort of relaxing and meditative just because coloring is. I think I'm going to move into a smaller brush. All right, so I'm going for some green and I'm going to outline and I'm going to stay inside those lines. So use a paintbrush that's appropriate for the size of the work that you need to do. And I usually suggest pulling the brush towards you. Pulling the brush kind of towards my stomach to get a nice clean look, which means you might need to turn the paper. What you're trying to avoid here is sometimes people turn their brush sideways, like as if you were using a pencil, and go this way, but that's going to make my line really fat. I'm being careful right now to not go outside the line, but that will make my line super fat and I'm going to go outside. So if you think about the direction of this brush is in the same direction as the diamond, pick it up and move it in that direction. What makes sense? Do the colors need to make sense with what you're painting, or can they be more abstract? Because this really is about abstraction. Look at my ice cream. My ice cream is going to be blue, but it really should be mint because I love mint chocolate chip ice cream. But I guess today I'm getting Superman ice cream. I think that's the one that's blue, which I think is actually pretty disgusting. All right, I have blue Superman ice cream. Stayed inside those lines, good control. In the Ndebele home, a lot of the homes have white backgrounds. Do you know why? So the house is sort of like an adobe style. It's a mixture of mud and cow dung. Yep, I said that right. Cow dung that makes the home. And then they use a white paste to go over the top. It's very similar to India, where they use cow dung and dirt on the floor, and then they do Rangoli paintings. But before they do that, they might use rice paste. So they mash up the rice to make their own paint. So a similar idea with the Ndebele. Ooh, I love that purple. That's so bold. So I'm probably going to use the same tiny brush for the whole thing. Okay, I think my Ndebele home is done. I could probably go in and add a few more things if I had a little more time. It's up to you to decide how you want to do this, whether you do this style home or this one. Remember, I made some of those little things here. I could keep going with this. I could maybe cut this a little smaller. I could add this onto the side of the house if I want my house to extend a little longer. I could do something like this where I paint on this and then I kind of find something like whatever, cardboard or something, and then I can prop it, attach it, prop it so it looks like it has a fence that's going in front of the house. So think about the ways that you can personalize this. We are looking at the Ndebele as a culture to learn from, how they look at the world, the designs that they create. But we can't copy something from them because it is not our own culture. We can emulate, we can learn from them, but we interpret it as our own. All right, have fun.